Hello, selectors, and welcome to the Life Burst Podcast. I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Tiffany, and welcome back to the Life Burst Podcast, a Wixoss podcast where we talk about all the Wixoss things and only the Wixoss things.
I feel like every time you say only the Wheatcross things, you're threatening me. You're like only wheat. Don't bring up anything else.
Well,
Just Wheatcross.
What? I mean, no.
I'd like to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, absolutely not.
No?
No.
No Sonic the Hedgehog.
No. It's a different podcast for a different day.
All right. Hi, everybody. Today, we're just going to have kind of a probably quick podcast.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little quick, catch-up, chit-chat.
We want to see how you are doing, dear selector. We're checking in on you.
Checking in on you, seeing how you feel, because the Grand Prix is days away.
Literally just days away. It was crazy. We did a sort of the last like, I guess, tournament that you can do before the main events, and it was like seeing everyone online, and it was weird to be like, well, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, really, I'll see you next weekend, basically. Like, roughly 6 days from now.
Yeah. There was a selector sent a pretty good comment. I just left my phone over there like a dumb butt. So, Tiffany, cover for me.
Okay, I'm covering for Andrew while he goes and gets his stuff. We have been practicing a lot lately. I'm sure all of you have been practicing a lot too. And we did go to a local tournament. We met up with some friends and we played that. And then recently there's been a couple of online tournaments that we've been playing as well in order to practice and get some reps in, as you would say, with our decks. And honestly, I am personally feeling confident with the decks that I've chosen and that we've chosen. And I can't wait to share all of those, all of the experience of the GP with you fellow selectors after we finish competing. It has been quite a ride so far, just trying to prepare for the GP. It's been just a lot of grinding on our end, as I'm sure it's been for you all as well.
Yes, actually, I'm weirdly looking forward to when the GP's over, so I can be like, I'm gonna do things like mow my lawn.
It's so real.
Anyways, I wanted to say real quick, thank you to everyone who's become a member since we've started that.
Thank you, selectors.
Very valuable. Helping us get a little bit of income so that way we can buy some cards and test some stuff out. I have a big package delivery coming for us for some singles, for us to test some wacky decks out. And that's one of the things that we're going to be doing is after the GP, we're going to be bringing some weirder decks to existence and to you guys. Some brews that you guys might want to try.
We're going to share our secret sauce.
Some very wacky things that we tried to, conquer the meta in secret. They didn't end up working out conquering the meta, but they are strange and strong. So we'll talk about those later, probably next week after the GP.
So if you guys are looking forward to that and you don't want to miss it, please make sure you subscribe.
I also have 2 comments that I wanted to highlight.
Two.
The first one's from Rodstar6246, who brought up in our last video. We were discussing some of the new cards that are coming out with set 9. And he said, it could be anyone. Funny little interaction between Soft Boiled and Remember. If your Remember takes our dog just squeaking on the storm. So Soft Boiled, which is the Mel accessory that you can give, right? Mm-hmm. You can give it to something. If it were to leave the field, instead you exclude the accessory, and then your Signy gets downed. Mm-hmm. Funny little interaction between Soft Boiled and Remembered. If your Remember takes a negative 12k, right. From presumably Machina.
Right.
And is upped when it takes that 12k. Right? You can actually save her because Soft Boiled will come into play, exclude itself, make the Signy go down, and then it will, normally that will kill it because it'll come, basically the Signy will then see that it's at 0 and die.
+3.
But it gets +3. So it sticks around longer.
Sneaky.
That's actually a cool little trick.
Yeah, that's very cute. I like that.
Yeah. There's a couple other Signy that are kind of like that too. There's like some stuff in white that buffs the Signys that are next to it and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that is a cool interaction you could probably do.
What's the other comment?
The other comment comes from Jellofish777. And this one's for you, Tiffany.
Oh.
In all caps, where did you get that hat?
You will never know. No, one of our friends is extremely talented and crafty in all things like fabric and cosplay and things like that. And for my birthday, I think it was like a year or two ago, she made me a copy of the MC Lion hat, and I love it so much. It is legitimately one of my most favorite things that I own.
Yeah, it's a cool hat.
Yeah. So to answer your question, it's custom made.
No one's taken me up on my offer, but if anyone ever made me a Tamago mascot costume, I would have worn it to the GP.
You would have been so
I would have been
hot.
miserable, but like I would have done it.
Yeah.
You know?
But you would have done it.
I would have done it. Hello, train.
Wixoss train.
The other thing is, if there was like, here's the other wish list item, a hoodie that's like a Tamako hoodie.
Oh, that you can like zip up, but like
yeah,
that actually would be pretty
cute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it. You know,
just an open invitation to make free stuff for Andrew.
I don't think anyone's ever gonna send me that, but you know, if you do, I'll give you the deets.
No, you can commission an artist.
Hey, speaking of commissioning artists, if anyone knows, like all of the lore that goes into the web novels or the web comics that go with the Wixoss stuff, not just the Selector series, but the old stuff too, just give me a shout in the comments. I want to talk about the story more, but I also don't know enough about it or where to look or how to read Japanese.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's the language barrier.
Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah, if there's like a fan translation out there, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So, Tiffany.
So, Andrew.
How was your Wixoss week? We just finished some Wixossies things.
It's been good, actually. We went to one of our local stores and we picked up 3 boxes because there were just a few cards missing from our decks, which we did get, thankfully.
Yeah, we did. It was a scare though, because we were like one card, which is a common. I was like, we were on box 3 before we opened it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, finally.
And we're like, oh my god. Oh no. But yes, we picked that up the other day, and that was fun. And then today we did the last proxy tournament to prep for the GP, which was a lot of fun. A lot of players ended up coming out for that, which was great because not only was it like an even amount of players, so nobody got a bye, but we were able to go like quite a few rounds, like more than you normally would.
Right.
And that went over very well. It was also really cool, like playing with people that I then realized I was going to like meet them in person in like a couple days, which hadn't hit me. So then I was like, oh, I'm like actually going to be able to like see you, which is cool.
Yeah. That is the cool part of this game.
Yeah.
And we went well. I went 3-1. You went 3-1.
3-1. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people went 3-1. Fair amount of people.
Actually, a lot of the games were very close.
All top 4 was 3-1.
Yeah.
Technically, due to breakers, I got first place. You got second place. I assume, again, due to breakers, because I got first place, it made anyone who played against me and lost get better placements.
Yeah, and you were the only one that I had a loss to that day.
Correct. And it was close. Like you were like there was literally literally a card difference, right?
Yeah, there really was. There was one card difference and there was like maybe one play.
Yeah.
That I could have done differently.
Play. I think it was it was close all around because of that. I may have made one mistake too where I was like, "Gulp." That was stupid of me. Took some extra damage when I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. And I hope that you all understand. I mean, if you're a long-time listener of the podcast, you will know that when big events like this come up, we're not going to give any details about what we were playing or what the other players were playing out of respect for people trying to to make the secret sauce, and we're going to try and keep it secret.
We'll talk some broad strokes, and I don't mind talking some broad strokes, but they're broad strokes. And what really shocked me was, and these are some of the best players that play online, and they really grind matches, right?
A lot of them play together as well.
Right. And I've tested with a lot of them separately as well. It's Tiffany. Like we've all just sort of tested sporadically on the sides. What really shocked me was there really was no one playing the same deck. Every deck was significantly different from each other. And
even if people were running similar centers, their deck was still different.
And the second part that shocked me was how close the games were regardless. Which I think is pretty good. It feels like Wixoss has kind of fallen into this rock, paper, scissors meta.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think that's good.
I mean, Pokemon makes a killing off of it, so I guess it's fine.
The most complicated rock, paper, scissors ever.
The most complicated rock... But this is not a Pokemon podcast.
No,
so.
I guess not.
But
you want me to talk about terrestrializing?
No.
All right, cool. So, look, all right, the Gorgeist isn't in Pokemon right now, so I have no interest.
Okay, listen, in all fairness, I feel like I'm turning into a villain a little bit. I just want to clarify something. The reason why this is a Wixoss only podcast is because I don't play anything else. Like, I don't know anything else. I wouldn't be able to talk to you
You
about
play
it.
Pajama Sam.
Oh my god. Don't expose me like that.
Guys, if you haven't seen Doug's Pajama Sam video
so
with
good.
AI, it's pretty good. You guys check it out.
So anyways, sorry. I just wanted to put that out there.
So broad strokes, right?
Broad strokes about the game.
I am genuinely surprised by how basically anyone who's pretty good at Wixoss and knows their deck in and out can just really still do well.
Yes.
Like there's
There's
no
an X factor that comes with the player.
Yeah.
Like the deck is just one part of it. The player is the other part of it.
There is no deck right now that I could say, and to be clear, I have tried so many different decks at this point, right?
Tried
like
everything.
Like I think I was somewhere around 25, 26 before I was like, all right, I'm going to settle on my deck now.
I think I had to have a sit down with you, and I was like, I think you need to pick.
You were trying a bunch of different decks too. Look,
I did, yes, yeah, but I think for me it's a little bit easier to settle into something than it is for you.
But what I'm trying to say is that every deck that I played and threw against I've got this crazy like algorithm math thing that I do basically to throw everything against each other, and then it comes out with being like, here's the best deck for you, right?
Yeah.
I did it and I found the best deck, and it was Nova, at the time when that one ceremony was. And
God, that feels like ages ago.
I know, by a wide margin though too. Like it was like it had like a 70% win rate against the field.
That's
and then
huge.
If you did it like meta, if you didn't do it meta, it had slightly smaller. It was like 65, which is still huge. But the difference being is that it actually auto lost to Sandbaka, but because no one was playing Sandbaka, it like had a better win rate than normal, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I think we actually talked about this on a previous podcast where we kind of explained that the meta at the time very much was like rock, paper, scissors, like Nova beat, what's it called?
Like
Nova,
aggro. So
yeah,
like
Nova
Hirana.
beat aggro, Hirana beat like mid-range, and then mid-range beat combo, and so on and so forth.
But this is to say that like when I did this kind of testing, I found there was just so many things that things are weak to, right? So like for example, I think the big things that you're gonna have to look out for, aside from just the plethora of random stuff that exists, right? We're talking Angels Virtuals Tribal or something, crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like Terra Beasts, but in blue, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying something crazy like that, right? Is,
sorry.
No worries. Is basically,
it won't turn off. I'm so sorry.
She's gonna have this, this alarm going for the rest of the podcast. What I'm saying is that there's a rock, paper, scissors, right? Like every deck kind of does well against each other. There's going to be a ton of random stuff, right? Because someone is, and here's the thing, it feels like someone's listening, and it feels like I'm going to personally call them out when I'm like, someone's bringing Love It to this tournament, and they're like, I'm doing it. I don't care. There's other red aggro decks. Love It's awesome. And you know what? Sure.
You know what? You do that. And you go hard with it.
Yeah, and you win.
And you know what? And you win that
sleepy. That's sleepy. You go for it.
You do it.
Wait,
honestly, y'all know me by now. Like, if you just want to play a deck because it feels good and you like it and it's your favorite center or your favorite color, you just do it.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy.
And so, there's going to be a plethora of that. But when you get to the top tables, I think what you're going to find is you're going to find a fair amount of aggro decks. I think you're going to find a fair amount of Esper decks. And I think you're going to find a fair amount of green decks, to be honest with you.
Which will be interesting.
And the world kind of works in this weird rock, paper, scissors. Because what I found was that the aggro decks have a pretty good fair game against the Esper decks. It's not like Esper has the tools to beat it, right? But if the aggro player is knowing what they're doing and playing smart and playing around these things that the Esper players do, they can win relatively easily. We're talking X, we're talking Dashirana, we're talking, a bunch of different white or just normal aggro decks that exist. You can make an aggro deck almost out of anything in Wixoss. The tools are there. Entwined Supremacy, for example. And the Esper decks, however, generally speaking, can beat pretty much everything else. And not by wide margin. They're like 50% decks. Which means they're incredibly difficult to pilot correctly, and one small mistake will cost you your entire game, right? So they are, and with the fact that, oh god, there's going to be it's best of 3 in top 8, which is cray. Your brain's going to hurt if you're playing Esper, and the games are really like you've got a 40-minute timer. It's gonna go to time sometimes, and you're gonna get double losses. So those decks might also naturally are not going to be very good.
Oh, they might be weeded out, you think?
Yeah,
from the timeouts.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so then also because it takes time to know what to play, right? This is almost like Magic the Gathering eggs. Eggs could win in a quick enough time if the player was good enough to execute. Execute.
That is no.
Correctly in time, but most people didn't really know the deck well enough, took too long, and then would get their double losses, right? So it was the same deal.
I remember that. I remember when that was a deck and it was really annoying.
Here's the crazy thing. Even though the Esper decks struggle against kind of these aggro decks, the green decks don't.
Interesting.
It's just this sort of like secret in that people don't really talk about very much. Is like, for example...
Green?
Yeah, exactly. Is that the Mel decks, for example, right? These Mel decks that are either like, I don't know, blue, black, green, or you have these like green, black, white decks that just sort of sit there and like wait for like aggro players to tire themselves out by punching a wall. And they're like, okay, I'll win now, Lancer. Like... Because they've got a secret sauce where they're not stalling the game out. They're doing damage every turn.
They're
sometimes multiple damage
blocky,
a turn.
man.
Right, yeah. And so these...
that's mid-range for you.
Right, so it's almost like these mid-range decks beat the aggro decks beat the control decks beat the mid-range decks.
It will be very interesting to see what everyone brings. Because even as we say that, like aggro, mid-range, tempo, whatever... all of those decks can look different.
Yeah,
and
totally.
all of them are going to have their own little like intricacies that the players will be bringing to the table. So I'm really excited to see everyone, to play with it, like actually meet some of you guys in person, some of you fellow selectors out there, and just like have a grand old time, and also stay inside because it's going to be hot.
It is going to be hot.
It's going to be really hot when we're there. This might be a vacation where like we don't go outside unless the sun is already set.
You're gonna see me constantly pouring water on myself because I'm gonna be like, it's so dry.
So dry.
Why is it not 65 to 70% humidity?
Oh my goodness. Okay, just like for those of you that have lived in humid environments, you know exactly what we're talking about. Like sometimes the humidity index makes it feel way hotter than it like actually is. And like the humidity index where we are right now is something around like 60 to 73%. Like it is extremely humid. I cross-checked that with what the humidity index like might be like around next weekend, and it said something like 13%. So there's a difference of 60%. And yeah. That is so dry. I'm gonna feel like a lizard. My skin's just gonna crack and fall off. It really is. It really is. Like if you're going from a humid environment to a really, really arid environment like Vegas, I am telling you. Maybe add this to your day bag, okay? Add this to your day bag list. Moisturizer. Because otherwise, your skin's going to want to just crack and fall off.
Yeah, totally.
But if we stay inside, it might not be too bad. We'll see.
Also, I just wanted to shout out real quick to we're gonna have a moderator staff. I guess not moderator staff. I guess they're the judges. Judges.
Oh, judges.
You know, I just want to shout out the judges in general. Tetris, for example, who's leading the recent tournaments.
Thank you, Tetris.
He also had an announcement that I wanted to just echo out there for anyone who's willing to do it. He said, as a side note, for all those attending to the GP and are interested in All-Star, you know, the format where you can play anything.
Ooh.
Everyone I know who frequents the format will be bringing their AS stuff to the event, and I'm more than happy to share, the format around. They usually have multiple decks.
Nice.
So if you want to try it out, you know, try it out you can get a hold of Tetris on Discord, but there's going to be a fair amount of AS there. I'm interested to pick up a deck and totally lose because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I also can't read Japanese, so...
Well, I think a lot of them actually... This is a cool thing that Tetris has done. He's actually gone and kind of updated, like with a program or a Photoshop thing, where he's actually updated the card text to not be Japanese. It's in English.
Oh.
So there's...
I would like to try that.
They have these proxies that you can print out and cut and put into sleeves if you want, or go through things like makeplayingcards.com. And you can get them printed out for yourself.
Nice.
You got to remove the copyright information on it and stuff like that, you know, because copyright is an issue. But if you alter it enough yourself with the English, I think it technically counts as creative difference or whatever. So you can print it through there. But it's a way to do it, and it's cool. I mean, again, I think
I would be interested just to like watch a game, just because I've never one, we came in on the Diva format because it's in English. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't want to play older formats of Wixoss. It's just that the language barrier is a little intense. It's quite a slope. But if there's like English variants out there, or if someone has translated it and would be willing to like teach us the rules, I would want to play some All-Stars. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's very
especially
cool.
Because I think Umer is like a big player in All-Stars or something like that.
Yeah, Umair Demons, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It should be fun.
Yeah, so I just want to make that announcement for anyone who's going to be there. You want to try All-Star out, they're clearly going to be doing some All-Star stuff.
Sound off in the comment section down below if you are going to Vegas next weekend.
Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, it's a cool thing that you can do. I know someone also in the comments below asked, like, wouldn't it be cool to shout out some other things that Vegas has available, which I think would be cool. You've gone to Vegas before.
I have
not, so I don't know anything there. I will straight up say this. Tiffany, I don't know what we're doing at Vegas yet, because literally, right, I haven't even mowed my lawn, let alone think what we're doing at Vegas.
Yeah, we don't, we're just focusing on the GP for now, and then we'll figure the rest out. But in my experience, if any of you have been to Vegas multiple times, or if you are local there and you know some cool stuff to do, please leave it in the comments section down below. But when I was in Vegas last time, honestly, it was like, Vegas is just one of those cities where, like, it's a choice to be bored. Like, there's always something to do, whether that's going into literally any one of, like, the hundreds of casinos, and like gambling if that's something that you're into, or going to see a magic show, or catching a concert, or going to dinner. Like, some of the food there is pretty fantastic. Yeah. But I think that one of the most popular things that you can do you can get married if you want to. But one of the more popular things that you can do is literally just walk around all of the hotels, because the hotels are like attractions in and of themselves, and it's free to just like walk through them and like explore all of the different hotels that are around. And I've been through some of them, and it is like some of them are like Disney World level of just experience.
Yeah, so and air conditioning. Which I think is big.
And like you can go see the fountains. There's like a Space Needle thing you can go up to that's really high. There's like a lot of things that you could do. There's probably like depending on what hotel you're in, you can just hang out by your pool. And that's free. Like,
and you're gonna meet people at the event. It's cool to hang out with people. I know Tiffany and I are probably gonna be like, hey, we don't have anyone else from Atlanta here. Let's bum out with you, and you're gonna go hang out with some people occasionally.
Yeah, be prepared for like 2 gremlins to attach themselves to you.
Yeah. And
I'm just kidding.
There's and people will be playing Wixoss all weekend, because it's again for some reason our GP is only one day, which means that we've got a second day of whatever the hell we want to do.
Whatever, yeah. If for those of you that are like going to be staying in town for longer, yeah, I almost kind of wish that they had broken it up into 2 days, just to do like, especially considering how they're trying to do the like top placements. Mm-hmm. I really wish that was on day 2.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. I don't know.
But our gripes with the tournament structure aside, there are some interesting things that they're doing aside from that. There is going to be by the way, there's going to be a vendor on site, so you can buy cards.
Yeah,
we heard someone talking about that today.
Yeah, so if your delivery of like that one single that you need isn't in yet, you might be able to buy it from the vendor. They just had to like get there early because I think they said that the vendor might open up a little bit beforehand. Yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah, we got lucky in our for this set we ordered 3 boxes and I ordered some of the decks that came out because I wanted some extra Phalaris's. I don't have enough of them. I only
wanted the pretty ones,
like 3. And I'm like, oh, there's so many decks want Phalaris.
Yeah.
So I've just been like, you guys have seen it. I proxy most things that we do. But I wanted like a couple extra in case like I needed to play or have some people who needed to borrow some. But we got that just mostly for the sleepies. We got 3 boxes. We were able to get the secret rares that we needed out of those boxes. Mm-hmm. I don't exactly know how. Luckily, 3 boxes basically gives you 4 of every card except for secret rares.
Yeah.
That's like the secret sauce
lucky.
number if you want. But the secret rares are difficult to get a hold of. If you haven't gotten a hold of whatever secret rares you need now, good luck. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but it's difficult.
Yeah, there will be a vendor on site. Maybe borrow some from someone that's not going to the GP.
Some people are probably going to be bringing their extra staples, and you can probably ask them, "Hey, can I
borrow
like a
some? Trade binder or something." Yeah,
maybe do some trades, maybe do some quick buys, and you might be able to sneak in a couple extra cards you have. I would say bring some stuff separate just in case, right? Like if you were like, I'm gonna run this white L rig, but I don't have the cards, but I do have Lion. Maybe just put the Lion in the deck for now.
You can also like, if there's an issue with anything, they put out like a fax and Carta Magica put out like a fax and questions that stated that you can submit your deck list as many times as you want if you needed to like update it or whatever. Mm-hmm. As long as it's before the deadline.
Yeah.
So if something like traumatic happens with your deck, like I don't know, like it's tossed out a car window, God forbid, and you need something else, then you have time to update it.
Here's my main tip too, if you're gonna do something, guys, because there's 128 people going to this GP, it's gonna happen to someone.
Those are the players. We're not even counting for plus ones.
This is it's gonna happen to someone. Bring your main deck as a carry-on with you in your flights.
Don't check your deck.
Do not check your main deck. You can check your extra cards if you really want to, but do not bring your main deck. Bring it with you on the flight, because if
put it in your carry-on.
If it gets lost, you won't have time to fix that.
I don't think you'll be able to fix that.
So I want to stress, I have heard too many people be like, I can't compete in this tournament because my cards got lost.
Oh God, let's just hope that doesn't happen to anybody, because that would be so brutal.
It's the worst reason to not play it.
That would be so horrible, especially because like a lot of people are traveling from out of town for this. Like this is not like a small expense for some people.
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited.
Oh, I guess the other thing that you can do if it's Vegas, technically you can go to like the Grand Canyon. It's not too far, right?
I think it is far.
Well, can't you just like hop on a...
Actually, I don't know how far away the Grand Canyon is from Vegas.
I think you can hop on like some kind of like helicopter, right?
Well, okay, hold on. So the last time I went to Vegas, I actually went with like a group of people, And we went because we were going to go to the Grand Canyon for several days, but the bus to transport us there picked us up from Vegas. So I don't actually know how far away it is. Maybe it's like an hour? You might be able to go. I actually have no idea. Let me know in the comment section down below if you can just like hop, skip, and a jump to the Grand Canyon.
The average drive to the Grand Canyon takes 2.5 hours from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst.
No, I just heard people say they were like, oh yeah, I'm going to Las Vegas and we're going to spend a day at the Grand Canyon, which is, if you want something that's not crazy city, that's also a cool thing to do.
I will say that as someone that's been to the Grand Canyon, it is worth going. I mean, that is amazing in and of itself.
I have no humanly conception as to what the Grand Canyon is like.
It's a whole different level of awe. Like, Vegas is one level of awe, and then the Grand Canyon is a whole other level of awe.
I will say this proudly as a city boy. I've never seen what the night sky looks like just 100% full of stars, or what a horizon looks like without buildings. So I don't know what any nature looks like with Grand Canyon. It seems like it would be very cool. I'm not making a joke. It does seem like it would be very cool.
It is very cool. Maybe that's something we'll do. Anyways, just can you tell that we're like excited?
Just very genuinely.
We're just like genuinely excited that we're gonna like go do this tournament, have fun, and get a tan. And
while we're talking about the tournament, still, I will say this. So today I felt really good about my wins, my placements, how I did against other players who are really good at the game too. And I'll say this: I feel finally. Literally, this week is the first week I've felt confident about playing in the GP. So if you guys are stressed and think, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm right there with you. And I've been stressing and doing nothing but playing this game for months now at this point. Like, our coworkers are like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we're playing a card game. Stop asking us.
Literally every day, we work at the same place. Every single day at lunch, all we've been doing is playing Wixoss, and our coworkers have like finally gotten it that like, oh, this is serious. They're going to go compete. Yes.
Yeah. So they're our biggest fans now. They're always like, oh, you guys got to win now and take it home. Thanks, no pressure.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, no, I have not felt super confident about my play until this one, where I was like, okay, no, it's paying off. The reps that I've put in is paying off. I know what I should be doing, right? I would say this: if you guys still feel wary about what you're playing or how you're playing, the best thing that you can do is not even really practice. Although practice helps, it's really good.
Put your time in.
It's really good to know what your deck is strong in, what your deck's weak in, and what kind of your extra things that you can do. Tiffany, you want a game off of, I won't say how, but you want a game off of a really big brain play where you told me, I went, no, that's not possible. And then I looked and read it and was like, oh my God, that's the biggest big brain I've ever seen there. And I didn't realize that, like, it was like so in depth that like you basically had to reread the rules book of Wixoss to be like, no, that is how it works.
So just like prepare yourself. I don't know.
So knowing your deck to that level is absolutely key to winning. But one of the things that you can do to help yourself get to that level is just think, okay, so if I play against a red aggro deck, what cards do I want? What cards do I want to play against them? What would I like to have in my hand? I'd like guards. Okay, how do I get guards? That kind of thing. Just do that sort of rabbit hole thinking and put yourself in a scenario where you can think, I am thinking of what field I need. And that will help teach you your outs for those, not just also general game plan, just like I should be looking to do this, I should be looking to do that. But then your general game plan as well comes together, but also it lets you know what your outs are, right? There are times, for example, that when I was testing, let's say, the Mel deck, right? I would think about, what do I want to see when I play against the Madoka deck, right? And I'll think about what is it that they're weak in. Oh, maybe they're a little weak in their enter. Okay, that means that I want to remember. Okay, so I want remember. Do I want Exia? I don't think Exia works in this scenario. What's the other option I want here? Oh, I want to still present a little bit of offense. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a Phalaris. Okay, so what do I want on my level 1 slot then if I'm up against that? Okay, so they are able to make me discard cards from their utility. So I want, or I'll be thinking, oh, this is actually a better one. Or I'll be thinking they're able to vanish certain amounts, like at least 12 and under. So what I want is a level 1 that can become bigger than a 12. I have that, Donna. Right? So, okay, cool. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a 22,000 powered Phalaris using the Soul of Meld that gives 10,000 power. I'm looking then to put down maybe a 13k or probably Remember, right? I can down my Remember. Downing Remember is now 15k, and I can grab Donna, level 1, use an Enter, get it to 22 power as well until my opponent's next turn. And now I have a field that can't be touched at all by Machina, right? So this is just one example, right, of any kind of deck that you can put together and say, this is what I'm trying to build towards. And that gives you a game plan to shape around, but it also lets you explore what are your outs, right? Because the next step on that is to go, well, what if they're not playing Machina Smash? What if they're playing Machina Binds? Okay, how do I work around that, you know? And suddenly you're like, maybe the Remember is important because it can be Enter starving the opponent now, or, how do I work around that kind of thing? Oh, the Soul still works here. The Soul still gets me to 22k on both of these. Now I have an open lane. I just can't attack with my Remember, things like that. But that is just one way that you can take the millions of different decks that exist in Wixoss right now and kind of think, what do I play against in this scenario? It's kind of something that I'm going to be focusing on too. We're not allowed to bring technology to the.
Yeah, they did say that we were not allowed to have any like earphones or earbuds of any kind, which is fine because like I've been playing without music anyways. But at the same time, it's kind of like, man, I really wanted to listen to some smooth jazz while I played.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take a page out of literally your notebook, and I asked you to buy me whatever you think the coolest notebook is, and I am going to have one half of that notebook just be like vague notes that are like, hey, against this matchup, I want to play this. Against this matchup, I want to play against something like this, or I want this kind of field. And then I'm going to have just half the notebook be open for me to take notes as the thing's going, like being like, oh, if I vanish this, it's now in his trash. He now has 22 cards left in deck or whatever, count. Oh, he's got 3 guards in trash. Let me just write that down real quick so I know I have that information quickly on me to pull up. And then in between rounds be like, ooh, I messed up here and I need to do better for the next thing. And then in between
just
rounds,
like taking notes and like reflecting on it, I think helps a lot.
Yeah, looking at my matchup guides, specifically in between rounds, to be like, oh, yeah, okay. What am I doing? Not in necessarily a scenario that I'm in right now, but like just keep reviewing what am I doing in these matchups? What am I doing in these matchups? Just so that way I can have my mental headspace be focused.
Yes. I bought you some blank ruled notebooks. I got myself some graph notebooks because they're my favorite. And I'll be bringing those with me as well. And if they have a problem with it, like, I don't know. I can't see why they would have a problem
It's
with
not
it.
technology. I think you can. It's not explicitly stated that you can't use it.
I've also seen like other competitive players, maybe not in Wecross specifically,
in
but
Pokemon
like
they do it.
In Pokemon they do it. I've seen people do it for Magic where they just like have a notepad next to them to like take notes or whatever. I can't foresee it being a problem. I'm gonna bring it anyways.
Yeah, you can do some other dumb things to remind you. For example, I know one competitor gets a couple d6, puts a 1 on a d6 on his deck, puts a 2 on his life cloth, and puts a 3 on his center, Elrig.
Why does he do that?
So that way he can be like, okay, follow the dice. 1, okay, draw my cards. I've drawn for turn. The dice isn't there anymore. I still have the enter dice. Okay, I need to enter. Okay, Elrig needs to grow. Cool, Elrig grows. I know how stupid that is.
Whatever works for you, man.
But holy crap, is it important? Because you get so overwhelmed by some of these board states sometimes that you're just halfway through and you're like, I didn't grow.
Whoops.
And I've placed 2 Signy. There's no going back now.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta be careful about that. Yeah, honestly, I think it's really whatever works for you as long as it's not, I guess, no headphones.
You can do headphones in between rounds. They said during gameplay.
Yeah, during gameplay. Yeah. So if you have like a pump up meditation thing that you like to listen to. Maybe that's what you listen to in between rounds.
Yeah. All right, that's it for me.
That's it. We just wanted to come on here and tell you we're excited to see all of you. And we will be giving you guys updates after the tournament is done. And we'll also have those, like, secret sauce exposed podcasts coming up after.
Yeah, and bear in mind with the podcast that you guys are going to get next week, it is going to be...
Scuffed.
It's going to be us talking into a small portable microphone and maybe one picture that's not moving up on it.
Yeah, because we're going to be traveling, but we want to make sure that we can get it to you as fast as we can. So just understand that it's probably not going to be super high quality, but
I know,
because we want to talk to
we're
you.
content creators. You guys probably are wanting to see matches, maybe some after, behind the scenes interviews and stuff. We are going as competitors.
Yeah, we're not press.
We are trying to win. So
we're going to be busy.
I am not going to distract myself with anything. I don't know what I'm doing after the tournament, but I'll figure it out after.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to go to a hot tub.
That's probably
honestly
good. You literally just take a bucket
out.
of water outside because it'll be hot.
Just sit in it.
And just sit in it.
On that note, thank y'all so much for listening. We're excited. We'll see you there. And as always, please comment, like, and subscribe, and flip all of your life bursts.
Bye, guys. See you at the GP.